Hello boys and girls, welcome to the Math Club. In this video, we're going to talk about 1.2 Indices. Question 2, copy and complete. 3 to the power of negative 2 equals what? We have to turn this into a fraction. Now, before we start with the question, I want to explain the idea and then we will talk about the question. The idea says what? It says if you have a number with a negative power, for example, if you have a 5 like this, let me explain it here. I'll make it bigger so you can see it. So if I have a 5 and the power is negative, if I have a 5 and the power is negative, I'm going to explain how to turn this into a fraction. First thing you do, let's write this here, 5 to the negative, or to the power of negative 4 for example, or 3. Okay, let's make it 3. Okay. You have to understand that a negative power means a fraction. A negative power means a fraction. And when you turn this into a fraction, it must be like this. First thing you do, you write the fraction line like this. And then take the negative and make it a 1 like this. So a negative power means a fraction with 1 in the numerator like this. So it's going to be a 1 here. I want you to understand this idea that a negative power means 1 over. We call it 1 over, or the numerator must be 1 in a fraction like this. So a negative means 1 over. Now, when we remove the negative thing, because we already wrote 1 over or a fraction with 1 in the numerator, we remove the negative here. What did we leave? We left 5 power of 3 because we already removed the negative, so it's 5 power of 3. Now we take the 5 power of 3 and then we write it in the denominator. So it's going to be 5 with the power of 3 like this. Let's make it smaller. Like this, yes. So you understand the idea that we took the negative part and we make it 1 over, or a fraction with 1 in the numerator. And then what did we leave? We left 5 power of 3. 5 power of 3, we wrote it in the denominator, and this is the final answer. So we turned a negative power into a fraction. This is the idea of this question. The whole question is about this idea. Now let's take a look at the questions and see what happens. For A here, we're going to follow the same steps here. 3 to the power of negative 2. We're going to follow the same idea. The negative, we will turn it into what? Into 1 over, or a fraction with 1 in the numerator. Let's remove this. So it's going to be 1 over like this, or a fraction with 1 in the numerator like this. So the first step we did, we took the negative, put it like this, 1 over, and then we remove the negative. What did we leave? We left 3 power of 2. Now we take 3 power of 2, we put it in the denominator here. Okay, so it's going to be 3 power of 2. So 3 and the power will be 2 like this. And this is the whole idea of this question. So first we put the negative as 1 over, or a fraction with 1 in the numerator, and then check what did we leave. If we left 3 power of 2, it means we put it in the denominator, and this is the final answer for the question A. Now let's check the rest of the questions. We have another one, which is B. Let's take a look. Sorry. Yes, let's take this here. Now we understand the idea. Let's work on B. Okay. B 1 over 3, let's put it like this, 1 over 3 equals 3 to the power of what? Now let's cover A so we don't get confused. It has the same idea, but we have to follow the steps using our brains. Now 1 over 3 equals 3 power of what? Or equals 3 power of what? Now take a look at this. This is 1 over. And we said that the negative part of the index or the power means 1 over. So I'm going to put 1 over. In the other part, it's going to be what? It's going to be a negative power. Good job, a negative power. So I'm going to move this, and the power will be negative, like this, negative. And here in the denominator, we have 3 power of 1. But the 1, we don't write it, so it's going to be 3 power of 1. And because it's 3 power of 1, it means I'm going to put what? I'm going to put 1 in the power here. So it's going to be 3 power of negative 1. And this is how you turn this fraction into a negative index number. That's the idea of the question. So in other ways, it means the negative here, this negative, means 1 over, like this. Means 1 over, or a fraction with 1 in the numerator. And 3 power of 1, we put it in the denominator, and we don't write the 1 here. That's the idea, okay? Now let's take a look at the other one, which is C. Here. Let's remove these. Okay. Let's take a look at question C. We're going to follow the same steps. Here we have 6 power of what? Equals 1 over 36. First, we must make them the same base numbers, because when you look here, 3 and 3 are the same base numbers. But here it's not the same base number. I want you to focus on this because this is very important. Let me zoom in so you get the idea. First step, you have to make them the same base numbers. Let's work on C and E. We will do C first. Let's do this. Let's cover this. First, we have to make these the same base numbers, because if they're not the same base numbers, we can't work. So this and this must be the same base numbers. 6 is smaller than 36. It means we're going to make the base number 6. So we have to make the 36 6. Now, to make the 36 6, we're going to divide it. So we're going to say 36, let's make it bigger, divide 6. Let's put it here. So this is the idea of finding the base numbers for power. So I'm going to divide by it. So 36 divided 6 will equal 6. And then 6 divided 6 again will equal 1. Good job. And when you reach 1, you have to stop. Good job. Now, after reaching 1, you have to count how many 6s that you have. Very good. You have 2. It means 6 power of 2. Very good. So 6 power of 2. Let's do this. It means that 6 power of 2 is the same as 36. Now we can remove the 36 and put 6 power of 2 like this. So I'm going to put 6 power of 2 here. We don't need the 36. We can work with the 6 power of 2. So I'm going to put 6 and the power will be 2. After finding the power for the same base number, now I can turn this fraction into a negative index number. Now we have 6 power of 2 and we have 1 over, or a fraction with 1 in the numerator. We talked about the meaning of 1 and a line like this. We said that this one means a negative power. If you have a numerator in the fraction, which is 1, it means the power will be negative. Now let's remove this so we can fill the gaps here. So we said that this means negative power. It means here, this one will be a negative power. So I'm going to put a negative power here, like this. And after putting the negative power, what did we leave? We left the 6 power of 2. And because it's 6 power of 2, we already have the 6. We just put the power of 2 here, and we will get our answer. So it's going to be 6 power of negative 2. This idea means what? It means that the negative means 1 over, and then when we remove the negative, 6 power of 2 is put in the denominator, and this is the idea of answer question like this. Now let's take a look at the rest of the questions. They have the same idea. I just want to make sure that you understand how to turn numbers into their base numbers. Now let's take a look at this one, E. We talked about having a negative power. We said that the negative power means what? It means 1 over. So we do what? We write 1 over. That's the first thing. And then after removing the negative, what did we leave? We left 4 power of 3. We just put 4 power of 3 in the denominator. Same idea. So it's going to be 4 power of 3. Good job. And this is the idea of question E. Now, let's take a look at the rest of the questions. This is E. Let's go back. Zoom out of this. Yes. What do we have? Same idea. Let's take a look at D and F. Okay. First, with D, same idea. I already have the power, so I know what am I looking for. Let's cover this so we don't get confused. We have a D here and here. Okay, for D, let's cover this. Now, we have -2 and the denominator is 169. Now, I need a number. When you multiply it by itself 2 times, I get 169. How can I find this? There are 2 ways of finding this. The first way is using what? Is using the square root. Because this one, the number here means square. So to find the base number, I use the square root. Or I put this number on the root here. Same idea of using a square root of 169. So I'm going to put the 169 here. And then I'll find the number. So here, 169 under the square root, it will give me what? It will give me the base number that I'm looking for. So the square root of 169 is 13. So the number or the base number is 13. Now, after finding the 13, it means 13 power of 2 is 169. Now, after finding this, I can use it here. So I'm going to put 13 here. That's the idea of question D. Let's put it here. That's it, yes. And here we understand that the negative means 1 over. And when you remove the negative, you'll end up with 13 power of 2, which is 169. Now, let's move on to the next ones. I want you to focus on this question because it's very important. This is question D. Now, let's check D and F. Let's check F, yes. Let's do F. In question F here, let's hide. We're going to do H after F, okay? Here. In question F, we have a fraction, and we have 2 options, which is 3 power of what and 9 power of what. Same idea that we talked about. First, we have to make them the same base numbers. We have to make them the same base numbers. Now, to make them the same base numbers here, first, we're going to answer 2 of them together, and then we will work on the other 2. So first, I'm going to answer this. Okay? So 1 over 81. The base number is what? The base number is 3. So I have to make the 81 3. How can I make the 81 3? Very good, by dividing. So I'm going to say 81 divide 3. I'm going to do it here. So 81 divide by 3. Very good. We already did this before, but let's do it again, okay? So 81 divide 3 will give me, let's write it here. Yes. 81 divide 3 equals 27. 27. And then 27 divide 3 equals, good job, 9. When do I stop? Good job, when I get the 1. 9 divide 3 equals 3. And then 3 divide 3 equals 1. When you reach 1, you have to stop. You can write stop so you can stop, okay? Now, after stopping, I know that I need 4 3s to make an 81. Now, I know that 3 power of what? 3 power of 4. So this one is 3 power of 4. Now, it means what? It means I have to remove this, like this, and put 3 power of 4 so I can work with the 3. So it's going to be 3 power of 4, like this. Now, remember this. Each time you do a number, you have to change the base number, depending on the number that you have. Now, because this is 3, I made the base number 3. So 3 power of 4. Now, we understand that 1 over this one, this part here, is a negative power. So 1 over, like this. Let's use another color. So 1 over means a negative power. So this one means a negative power. So I'm going to put a negative power here. Let's use this, cover it, so I can work on it. So this one means a negative power. So I'm going to put a negative power here. Now, after putting the negative power, I know that this is 3 power of 4. Same idea, I'm going to put 4 next to this one. So it's going to be 3 power of negative 4. This means that the negative is 1 over, and 3 power of 4 is put in the denominator. Same idea with this one, but I'm going to make the base number 9. So returning to the 81, let's return to the 81 so I can work with it. I'll put it here. I'll put 1 over and work here, okay? So this one equals 1 over 81. 1 over 81, like this. Let's make it bigger so you understand it. Fraction line. This. So here I'm working on this side, okay? Focus, because I don't want to get confused. I just took the 1 over 81 to this side so I can work with it. So it's going to be like this. Now I'm going to answer this. I need the base number the same as the 9. So I'm going to turn this into a 9. How can I turn it into a 9? By dividing. Good job. So 81 divide 9, right? Divide 9. Make it like this. So I'm going to divide by 9. It will equal what? Very good. So 81 divide 9 is going to be 9. Good job. So it's going to be 9. And then 9 divide 9 again. It's going to be 1. So in this way, I found how many 9s I need to make an 81. And I reached the 1, so I stopped. And this means I need 2 9s. It means 9 power of 2. 9 power of 2. It means this 81 will be 9 power of 2. I'll remove this. I'll put 9 power of 2 here. So 9 power of 2. So I can work with it, okay? This is 9 power of 2. This question is a little bit long, but it needs focusing. So here I understand this is 9 power of 2. And this is 1 over. 1 over means what? Means a negative power. It means I'm going to put a negative power here. And because this is 9 power of 2, I have to put 2 here to make them the same. And this is the idea of answering this question. Now, I think we still have one to cover. Let's take a look at it here. Yes. The H. Did we cover the other one? The G. G is the same. G is the same as F. You just work each 2 alone. You make this 8 first. Find by dividing, and then make it 4 by dividing, and then make it 2 by dividing, and then you'll find the powers. After you find the powers, you can write negative or minus next to the powers, because this is 1 over. Same idea here, 5 power of negative 1. Same idea. Negative power means 1 over. Let's cover this and do this quick. So negative power means what? Means 1 over, like this. And you put a line. So once you see a negative power, it means it's 1 over something. Now, after removing the negative power like this, what's left? It's 5 power of 1. And the power of 1, we don't write it, basically. We just write 5. So it's 1 over 5. And this is the idea of answering question like this. Even this one, let's do this quickly. Let's find them. So 64, you divide by 8 to find how many powers do you need. And then you write it here. 64 divided by 4, same idea to find the powers. 64 divided by 2 until you reach 1. And then you end up with the number of powers. You will use them here. And you write minus next to them. And that's the idea of the whole question. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.